to defend John either. What do you want us to do here? He played a perfect rating game to beat the Vikings. Congrats. Way to go. I'm so happy.
William says 158.3. Is that a perfect passer rating? Yes, it is. Not by Jalen Hurts. Oh, I know. They weren't in the middle of the field. I know, yeah, it was the Vikings. Brian Flores. Let's move that goalpost. F. Sills, respectfully love y'all. How Philly is that, Sills? F you, respectfully, I love you. Jalen will figure this shit out. Good stuff, William. Appreciate the $50 super chat, brother. Good stuff there.
Thank you very much.
Says, Sills, I'm going to cook you tomorrow. We don't deserve this abuse from you. Jalix Hunt, pick 6. Like Z said, we pass when we want. Rodgers was non-existent. You can't say nothing. How you do it? Big Sills.
You pass when you want is a ridiculous
comment. They're going to be coming for me all week, too. They were already coming
They
for me.
pass when they want is ridiculous.
Yeah, that is kind of ridiculous. They did today, but they don't typically do.
Jesus Christ. They pass when they want, John. The people in Philly really believe that guy is that guy that they saw today on a day-to-day basis. He's not.
I'm going to take the under against the New York Giants with a perfect passer rating.
Yeah, me too.
Taking the under. Sorry, guys. I'm taking the under.
God.
John always stays in the middle there. Des says, Jalen deserves credit if only for a week. LOL. Nice to see a Dean sighting. Dean did have a nice game today. And Dan, can we perform a routine kickoff without getting a penalty? Running game is still suspect, but it's a great win to end the skid. I agree with everything Des says here. I think
did Elliott kick the ball where it didn't go 20?
Yeah, he had one where it didn't reach the landing zone. Yeah, I was trying to squib it because it was doing a good job because their returner was having trouble picking it up, sort of doing the Cardi thing that the Rams did. He was doing a good job, but then if you do that too much and you bobble it, before the 20 and you all of a sudden you get a penalty. It's harder than it seems. But they did a good job early with that and a bad job later.
Here's Big Marsh. So what's the complaint now, Sills? Hurts is over 300 yards passing, AJ and Smitty over 100.
What's his complaint? He'll never do that on a consistent basis in his career. There's no complaint.
Yeah, but you shouldn't expect any quarterback to do that on a consistent basis.
Well, no, nobody does. Yeah. Nobody consistently has.
I'm not. I'm saying that's not how you're going to win games. You're still going to have to win games with balance.
Well, I think. Look, my whole
nobody's sitting on Jalen Hurts here.
No, we're not. But I think I think the real part of it is it was fair to say the offense has to carry their water after the last 2 losses. They are the highest paid offense. They are supposed to kind of be help out the defense. And it didn't seem like they were doing that at all in the first 6 weeks. And the stats said
it's okay.
Let's put it in context then. Okay, so they did it 1 game. Congratulations.
There is no transitive property in the NFL. So give Jalen Hurts credit for having a phenomenal game on what's the date still? October 19th. It does not translate to next week. Never mind 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks down the road. Another example, on throws of 20-plus air yards, this is from Next Gen Stats, Hurts was 5 of 5 for 215 yards and 3 touchdowns. Okay,
John, that's Dan Marino shit.
That is not going to continue. That is not Jalen Hurts hatred. Sometimes, look at like an NBA scorer, sometimes you have it and you score 50 and, I'm an old school Sixers fan. Willie Burton once scored 50. Anybody know who Willie Burton is? No. But sometimes you have the hot hand. I'm not. Sills can defend himself, but if you guys think this is indicative of he can do this every week, no. This is one of the best games he ever played, and he's played a lot of great games. But it's not going to be consistent from week to week. Dan Marino couldn't do this from week to week. Why is that hard for people to understand?
Are you kidding, John?
No, but I think people just want to give him credit. I'm giving him credit.
Nobody's not.
Yeah.
What do you want?
I've said it 5 times.
I know.
It's one of the best games he's ever played.
I'm not gonna defend John either. What do you want us to do here? He played a perfect rating game to beat the Vikings. Congrats. Way to go. I'm so happy. There's not a chance in hell for the next 4 weeks he's doing this.
Well,
Or how about this? How about this? How about this? Let's see it.
Well, I'm even going to go. Need to be this perfect every week, but I do think they need to be better than they were.
If he wasn't perfect, you lose.
Well, but that's not his problem. That's all the other.
Well, that I agree with.
Right.
All I'm trying to bring is some content. All right, they're what, 5-2.
Excellent.
There's 10 games left in the regular season. Right now, I'm taking the under on 158.3 in all 10 of those games. All 10.
Well, John,
now,
what a reach.
He's going to, exactly. That's what I'm trying to point out. He's going to have a bunch of good games in there, but he ain't going to do 158.3 again. This is an outlier. Phenomenal game, but it's an outlier.
Well, I'll say, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's the third perfect passer rating in Eagles history.
Yeah,
so it's obvious.
Exactly. Yeah. It's an outlier.
No, I get that. I'm just saying. I think whenever he responds though to a week of criticism, the Jalen Hurts fanboys are going to come out.
Yeah, they do. I'm more concerned about 18 for 44 and what the hell is wrong with Saquon Barkley.
Here's Jair. You guys will like this. Here's Jair. He sent this early in the show. He says, "Great passing game by Hurts, but it's an anomaly. Don't get used to it."
Well, he's right.
All the big throws were wide open. Doesn't get rid of the fact that he struggles going through progressions. Y'all think it's fixed?
Well, I don't think it's fixed.
What's fixed? Get the hell out of here.
No, he was saying the people in the chat think it's fixed. Not you guys.
No.
I
mean, look, Devontae was wide open. AJ was wide open. He's making good throws, but there are better secondaries to come. Trust me on that.
Especially when you get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, hey, by the way, John, was that Sixer reference to the Chet Walker days? Is that because I never heard of that?
No, Willie Burton was he was the disastrous sort of horrible post Chuck Barkley days when they were really bad.
Okay.
And he was a guy who's just a good scorer, not a great scorer, but he went off for 50 one night, and it happens.
How you feeling? How you feeling there, Big Z? I mean, you look like
you're good. Back in the win column.
Are you back on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon? Well, are you back on it?
First off, it's very simple. I was never on or off the bandwagon. First off, I'm an Eagles fan, not a Jalen Hurts fan. And when you have a $250 million offense and they don't live up to the potential, I don't think it makes you a bad fan to say the quarterback and the offense have to be better. I said that consistently for the last 10 days. I will continue to say that because this team isn't going to go the distance if the offense doesn't carry their water. But he deserves credit. He had an amazing game today. And, people are going to be saying it to us all week that we got egg on our face. I'm all right with it. It is what it is.
Egg on our face? I don't think it is egg on your face. I think you did your job. You got it done. You responded. Well, with question marks where can they go out there and be in the passing game? I think the thing that John and I have been saying, and John, again, I'm not speaking for you, is that, dude, consistency and balance is what's going to win a Super Bowl. Or you're going to have an iconic run game like you did a year ago. This football team's not going to have an iconic run game, so you have to have balance. This thing ain't going anywhere past the wild card.
It is very positive from a passing performance.
Absolutely.
It is. It's very positive.
It's about time we've only waited 2 years.
By the way, to my December 13th, 1994, Sills, Willie Burton scored 53 points for the Philadelphia 76ers, only attempted 19 field goals in the game.
Shit.
The second fewest field goal attempts in a 50-point game. The end of that year in 1995, he was playing for RSC in Milan overseas. Now,
oh my God.
I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is.
Are you saying Jalen Hurts is that guy?
No.
I'm saying he's not. Jalen Hurts is a great player. Willie Burton was not. But I'm saying sometimes these games happen. Nobody can explain them. Look at Ohtani. Yeah, Ohtani's a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest baseball players of all time. Look what he did the other day.
Unbelievable. Babe Ruth did that.
Sometimes, whether you want to call it the zone or whatever, Jalen Hurts was in the zone today.
He was in the zone against the Vikings today. There is no doubt.
He was in the zone. He deserves credit for that. And guys, I tell you what, the NFC East is about to get a little more interesting. All right. The New York Giants have a 2-touchdown lead right now in the Broncos. Now it's early in that game. All right. But hey, maybe they found something last week versus the Eagles and they're building on it. And I just watched Dak Prescott throw a massive touchdown pass to CeeDee Lamb, who has returned to the lineup over the Commanders. So the division's about to get interesting, everybody. It's a big win today for the Birds.
Yeah, it is a big win because they, obviously you don't want to lose 3 straight. So from that standpoint, it's good to get back on track. And I think it'll stem some of the nonsense. I don't think we'll hear about meetings this week.
Or Tanner McKee.
Or Tanner McKee or Kevin Patullo getting fired at the bye.
I can't wait for the Eskin interview this week. I know he's going to have to come back on.
That's Tuesday.
that stops all that talk. No meetings except the 75 scheduled meetings they have during the week.
8 meetings.
No meetings. No Tanner McKee talk. No Kevin Patullo talk. So just from that standpoint, it stems all of that. And BG will be back tomorrow. Maybe he can help.
Are you think that's going to happen, John?
I do think it's going to happen. So I don't think it's a good thing, but
can't be worse than what they have right now. I'll say that.
Well, they didn't play terribly.
Had a sack today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he did sack late. They only had 2 sacks. Morrow had 1. Uche had 1.
Morrow and Ringo
almost going to be concerning, John. Because they're not deep there.
And
that was concussion, so he'll be in the protocol. So it's not.
And that was player on player. That was Ringo who ran into him that way. Yeah, that was tough to see.
So he might have to miss a game, but it shouldn't be long term. But yeah, I mean, look, I think for this team as it's assembled, if you can get Jahad Campbell up to speed, the best way to do it would be to have Nakobe play linebacker because he looked pretty good today with Zach Bond and have Jahad Campbell on the edge as much as possible. But, you also have other reps because Brandon Graham would be better than Azeez Ojulari. And Jay Alexander had a nice game. Obviously he had the pick 6, but you see some of those. You see why Vic likes him because he's comfortable doing that kind of stuff. And, by the way, who was that guy on X talking about pressure with that play? What was that, Zander? Sacks are greater than pressures?
That's one of our dudes who hates your take about sacks. And he's always, every time someone makes a big sack, he tweets at me, "Oh, this is why John is wrong." So I tweeted back at him, "Well, if you're going to say John is wrong on this play, you better call out where the pressure makes a big play."
Yeah, that was pretty big pressure. Turned it into a pick 6.
I'll take pressure every day. You get volume pressure versus a sack. I'll take volume pressure any day, any night.
I mean, Dan's a defensive lineman. Everybody in the NFL knows that.
Volume
pressure. It's way better than a sack.
Here's Jared that checks in with 20. Jared, thanks for the super, brother. All right. Is it weird that I'd rather have Swift than Saquon right now? I know it's not his fault, but he doesn't look like the right running back for the team right now.
Well, DeAndre Swift's having a good year.
He's having a really good year.
I mean, I'd rather have Saquon than DeAndre Swift. But I can't explain what's going on. Swift had 124 yards today.
Another win for the Bears.
Hey, John, you think those 465 carries are catching up with him? 900 in college.
Well, it catches up to everybody. He looked great during the summer. I thought he looked like he had more juice this summer than he had last summer.
You think he's got the same explosion?
Well, you see little hints of it. That little spin move he made when he should have been caught 4 yards in the backfield. You see little hints of it, but I think that the physical nature of those 482 touches took more out of Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens than Saquon Barkley.
Hey, John. So I guess they caught a hot mic down there in the end zone, and AJ, when he got the touchdown pass, says, "This is when you throw me the effing ball." What the F is that? Just throw me the effing ball.
Well, I mean, the guy wants the ball. It's not going to, you know. The problem is when you're playing an opponent that's playing well, and it's going to happen, and it's already happened. It's going to happen down the road. When you're playing an opponent who's playing well, you know, we still have to see, is the ball going to come out on time and that kind of stuff. We still have to see that. Like when Devontae's streaking with 6 yards down the field, all right, make the deep throw. Awesome. Great highlight. When AJ's streaking down the field and he's wide open, awesome. But 14-14, 3rd and 7, back foot, ball out. Is that throw going to be made? I don't know.
Fair enough. Big Marsh checks in with $50. Thank you, Big Marsh. Big Marsh is coming for you, dude. He
coming
said,
for me.
how much I got to pay Zander to $100 to put Sills in his place?
How you going to put me in my place? Congratulations.
Says, we're on Sills'
you beat the Vikings.
John, we are on Sills for a specific reason. You may not watch Sills every day.
Whoa.
Take abuse from this chump on the daily.
Wait, on
Fuck
what?
you, Sills.
Hey. John, but you know what's funny? John says the same shit I say every single morning on 365. He says it every day. He's like this about Jalen. The quarterback is limited. He's not going to be able to do the things that you saw today on a day-to-day basis. That doesn't mean he's not going to win, and he's not talking shit on him. Okay? No. To sit there and say that John made it very clear prior to this, the pregame show, and I said it too, and I echoed it. I'm not learning anything off this Viking game. I'm not learning anything off the Giant game. Hey, congratulations for not robbing a bank. There you go.
No, I expected him to win this game. I expect him to beat the Giants next week. I expect him to beat it. So, you know, I said the one thing that would say, all right, make me take pause in this game would be if the Eagles were blown out.
Yeah.
And which wasn't going to happen, which I said on the pregame show. And even if they did, you know, if that Jake Elliott missed kick went back to haunt them and Minnesota converted one of these red zones and they lost this game, you know, 28-26 or something like that, I wouldn't have been jumping off bridges. It would have been a close game between two flawed teams. I still think the Eagles are a flawed team because they can't get this running game going. And they're going to face better secondaries. Look, I said it in the pregame and I got some pushback. I say Rodgers ain't that good. He's having a good season, had a good early season. I think you saw him get exposed. I saw him play all last year. He's a great third corner. I don't think he's a starting corner in this league consistently. Big time starting corner. And by the way, he's their best corner.
Starting corner than Keely Ringo is.
Well, I agree. I agree from the standpoint of he'd be better, but he wasn't Darius Slay from last year. That's all I'm saying. And when he's matched up with A.J. Brown, that ain't a good matchup for Minnesota.
Hey, John, real quick. The job that Shane Steichen is doing with Daniel Jones and that Colts team, dude, they're going to go to 6-2 on the season. Or I think they're going to go to 5-2 on the season, whatever it is.
I think there's 5-1, right?
5-1. Okay, so they're going to go to 6-1 on the season.
They're playing right now. I'm not sure what the update is.
It's 20-3 Colts.
20-3, the Colts.
Yeah.
Who they playing? The Chargers?
Let me see here. They're playing
Daniel Jones has already got two touchdowns. I said most people and I have a all-pro MVP vote. I'm voting for Daniel Jones right now. Now, season's not over. If we had the vote, I would vote for Daniel Jones.
Pro Football Writers, John, that's a big one.
AP
Yeah.
votes. But yeah, I would vote for Daniel Jones to be the MVP of this league right now. Now, long way to go.
I think I'd go Baker, but both of them are a good option. Here's Big Marsh again. You talk shit on him, Sills. That's the difference, but you go glorify Baker Mayfield.
I will. Baker Mayfield is playing MVP football right now, carrying a football team.
Yeah, I think he'd be number 2.
Week to week, Baker Mayfield has carried his team.
Through a lot of adversity in terms of injuries as well.
I mean, Hurts has not carried his football team. Hurts has won a lot of games, though, other games earlier, because of his wheels and some situational throws he made. So I'm not going to dismiss that. But Mayfield's had a great year so far, especially on Monday night. Big matchup with Detroit, by the way, in the NFC.
Do you guys think that Kevin Patullo had a better game than he's had through the first 6 weeks today?
Well, because the quarterback had a better game.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, the quarterback had a better game. They were able to do more things, and Jalen Hurts was able to. They got a lot of single coverage too, man. I don't know what Brian Flores he was trying to bring pressure.
I don't.
I mean, John, how about all the single coverage they did out there?
They couldn't get home and they couldn't cover. So I mean, that's
a good remedy.
It's not a good situation to be in. When you feel like you can't get home, so you send extra pressure, and you feel like you can't cover, and they couldn't cover. That's a bad recipe.
Thank you, Marsh. I appreciate it, though, man.
Yeah, Marsh, appreciate it, man. What's the recipe then? Because you guys are both. I mean, I just think Jalen deserves credit for a big game. I'm not saying he has to do it every single week.
Give him credit 15
Everyone
times.
is giving him credit.
I'm just saying, what off of this then? Where do the Eagles go? Like, does it have to be more this? Is it less run? Do they change the style they've been trying to play from last year? What do you guys expect this offense to morph into in the next couple of weeks?
Well, they have to run. They have to run the football better than they're running the football right now to be any kind of consistent offense. Next week, you're going to have the Giants are not as good up and down the roster as Minnesota, but guess what? Styles again. You already saw it 2 weeks ago. They have a great defensive front. They're not going to need to send extra pressure. Something as little as that can impact the game greatly.
Right. Another man in coverage, obviously.
And where was Wentz moving the chains at the end of the game with his wheels? Jackson Dart can move the sticks with his wheels. And so that's going to be something to keep an eye on. Now, again, the Giants already, man, in their book, you split on the season 1-1. They won it as far as they're concerned. If you're the Eagles, you're disappointed you're going to be 1-1 versus the New York Giants. You were expecting to sweep them.
Yeah, but if the Giants come in with that mindset, they're going to get waxed. But hopefully, from their standpoint, hopefully they don't have their mindset. Obviously, they're playing better. They're still up on Denver 13-0. Denver's one of those teams that is, they could look really bad.
They're limited in offense, John.
Yeah. Well, Bo Nix is limited, but
he is.
Part of the reason that loss pissed me off all that much more.
Well, that's it. Think about
because Scatterboo was trucking people.
It feels like to me that the Eagles dominated this football game. It feels like they pretty much handled Minnesota, and it's still a one-score game.
Yeah,
that's the NFL,
and almost 400 yards on offense.
Well, I think the big stuff there. I mean, I know the offense. We're talking about how good the offense is now, but at halftime, the offense was a little bit, suspect in that they had 2 takeaways on defense, and you were only up 14-6 at the half. And you look at that, you're like, that's a win for the Vikings to give the ball away twice, to have a pick six. And then the Eagles scored on their first drive, and to only be down by 8 at the half was, I thought, a win for the Vikings. But obviously, it didn't matter because the Eagles had a great second half as well.
Yeah, but
plus
that
Vic
tells
was great in the red zone.
Yeah, that tells you how close the NFL is, though. Because they played a pretty poor game, and who knows? Even if that Hawkinson thing wasn't overturned, it's a much closer environment where you have to play differently. So, NFL's tough, man. That's why you shouldn't
3-point margins, John.
I'm curious why both of you thought Hawkinson's catch was a touchdown. The rules analyst said it wasn't. I mean, I guess it was gray area, but
I thought it was a catch.
I thought he had control of the football, but
me too.
As Pereira, and
I didn't see it hit the ground.
It didn't hit the ground, but Pereira knows better than me. This is to the over legislation of football. You have to have control throughout, and evidently when he rolled over, he bobbled the ball a little bit, and that means incomplete. Look,
even when it never hits the ground, you get the control of the ball. That's
it did hit the ground.
They've made this so difficult because the nose of the football can hit the ground. The ball can hit the ground as long as you have control over
it. Right.
And the ground is not aiding that control. It was clear that the ground didn't aid control of the initial catch, but as he rolled over, he bobbled it a little bit and took it back to his, secured it. You remember the Butch Johnson touchdown, Sills? I'm sure you do.
Super Bowl against the Broncos.
Yeah. You remember that thing?
Yeah, because he rolled and then he really that wasn't. Did you think that was a catch, John?
Well, it was a catch. It's not a catch today.
Right.
It was a catch then.
Right.
And I'm saying that's how much the game has changed.
Yes.
Like you had a split second control. You're in the end zone, touchdown. That's how it used to be for years.
That's right.
Now they have this over-legislated bullshit. So all I'm saying is, in a different era, that's a touchdown. He had control of the football. He made a play. It's a great play, by the way. Should have been a touchdown, but by the rules, the over-legislation of the rules, Mike Pereira says it's not. I'll divide to Mike Pereira. I know if Dallas Goedert made that catch, Eagles fans would be incensed. But and that's to my point, Zander, which I bring up every week. What do I bring up? Some go your way, some don't. That went your way.
Yep, no doubt about it. Guys, what did you think of Jahad Campbell off the edge? We didn't know. I mean, we talked about it, obviously, but the possibility was there with the thinness at edge group, but we speculated maybe Bond, maybe Campbell. Campbell ended up there and Jacoby at the linebacker spot. What'd you guys think of the way Campbell played off the edge?
I didn't notice any splashy plays, but I think the ability to get Jacoby on the field might be your better option than, using more Azeez Ojulari, So if you get all three on the field, Campbell playing edge and Dean and Bond at linebacker, I think you're better than if you're playing Azeez Ojulari or Patrick Johnson. And maybe Brandon Graham changes that, but I think it helped the Eagles getting Jacoby on the field.
John, you're talking like Graham's coming back.
Yeah, I think he's coming back.
You think they'll have him on the practice? Is there any kind of window, a ramp up for you taking a guy off the well, you got to first come off the retired list. There's a retired list that he went on. And according to NFL Players Association, you have to come off that list. I don't know if you get a window. Sometimes, Zander, when you come off IR, you get a window. I don't know.
You get a 21-day. You get a 21-day practice window coming off IR. I'm not sure if you get a 21.
I don't either.
Practice. You probably get something, but I think it'll be pretty quick. I mean, that was the whole point of seeing, Brandon. They talked to Brandon before they signed Zadarius Smith and sort of took his temperature, and he said, let me see, let me start working out, let me see where I am. So this has been in play for a little while. I don't know how close he is. I assume he's not going to come in and play 50 snaps. So
10, 15 snaps a game, is that the expectation? Probably.
well, that's what it was last year when he ended up playing more because he's better than the other guys. And I think the same thing will happen this year, where Vic will probably go into it 15, 20 snaps, and then he'll say, well, this guy's better than this guy, so I'm going to keep him out there. But we'll see how it shakes out. I do expect him to be back. And I don't know if that's a good thing because I want to find a way to get Nakobe on the field. And the only way you can do that is more Jahad Campbell on the edge.
You take him off ball, John? Really? Wow. I mean, you're developing him to be an off-ball linebacker.
Well, they, I go back to when Howie drafted him. All he talked about was him as a pass rusher.
And he played it at Alabama. He got off ball.
He was recruited as an edge rusher.
Yeah.
And then Will Anderson got Will Anderson was there. I think Dallas Turner was there. Somebody so he wasn't going to play on the edge. And they moved him to off-ball linebacker. The whole plan was to play him on the edge at Alabama. And
you think that got expedited, John, when Smith retired? That they ramped that up even more? About
God, yeah. He wouldn't even. Yeah, both of them, BG and Campbell on the edge. Both of them got expedited because Smith retired. If Smith didn't retire, BG wouldn't be coming in and Campbell wouldn't be playing the edge other than the occasional snap here and there. So it expedited both of them.
Well, we'll see what they end up doing there. Overall, though, I do think, the defense had I can't really tell the defense.
Red zone, baby. They did a tremendous job.
Which is kind of Vic Fangio's bread and butter in terms of bend but don't break, right? I mean, that's
I'll tell you this, Andrew. I'll give up 7,000 yards from 20 to 20. I mean, you tell me that I'm the number one defense in red zone. That's how you win football games, dog. That's how you keep people out of the end zone. And those field goals kind of reminded me of the Ram game a little. Rams not cashing in on them opportunities to score. I kept saying, you're not going to beat the Eagles.
Well, you got some help too. That one holding call on Brand, that was not holding. I thought it was holding, and then they showed the replay, and I'm like, oh, he just dominated the guy, and you get a break. You get a break.
John, how'd you think Wentz played?
Not well. Not well.
Yeah.
That 3-play sequence. So you had pick 6, and then they got the ball back, and he was trying to throw a swing pass, and he threw it way behind the guy, and it ended up being an 8-yard loss. And then he tried to it was like a punt to Makuba's interception. Those were 3 plays in a row. That was brutal. That might have cost him the game.
So, John, Wentz played a poor game, and Hurts played the greatest game in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles, and they beat the Vikings. Is that where I'm taking away here?
Well, it was not an impressive win other than the passing game and red zone defense.
Okay.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I thought it was still an impressive win.
Well, I thought the passing game was tremendous. I thought the red zone defense was tremendous. But, why are they in that game?
I think the pass.
I still don't know. I still don't know how they were in that game. I still can't figure it out. How were they in that game?
Minnesota?
Yeah.
3 and outs.
How were they in that game?
They were starting to steal possessions, John, because they were 3 of 10, and they started to be able to move the ball a little bit, and Wentz started moving the ball with his legs, and they were starting to get in position where they were winning on first and second down. They were getting a little bit of a run game, not a lot, a little bit of a run game going, and they were able to make some plays, especially on the numbers. I mean, they were
their running game was terrible.
Terrible.
It was better than the Eagles' running game, and it was terrible.
I don't know what's going on with our damn running game, man.
I mean, there needs to be a serious conversation on Barkley, like what's going on here with that. Because, I mean, I get the O-line, I get all that, but I mean, it's like non-existent. Just non-existent.
Yeah, no, it's struggling, no doubt about it. Well, you're going to need to see more of those types of games from Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying it's got to be perfect, but, if the running game never gets going, you have a new formula to win this year, and it's not running the football, obviously. So they're going to need to change the way they play a little bit if they're not able to get the running game going. I like Tank Bigsby to run the ball a little bit more.
What do you have? One carry 14 yards? There you go.
1 carry for 11 yards. Longest run of the day. Tank is great until he fumbles. Then people will have
John, that was the longest run of the day?
Yeah, for the Eagles, yeah.
Oh.
Longest run of the day was 16 yards from Carson Wentz. That tells you the running game on both sides.
Couple more guys I want to read before you go.
Mason had a 12-yard run. That was his longest run.
We'll see what they end up doing here. Here's William, checks in with 20. Thanks, William. I told y'all last week in a super chat, Hurts will figure it out. Sills, you are right. The coordinators aren't there for Hurts, but he will continue to go outside the organization for help, but he will succeed. He has the clutch gene.
What outside the? What are you talking about? Come on. Why? It's always like every time he plays poorly.
You're referencing the Wink Martindale thing, John.
Every time he plays poorly, it's the coach's fault. And every time he plays well, he plays well despite the coaches.
Yeah, that is a stupid narrative.
I mean, come on. He played a great game.
We did talk about change this week, John, with the coordinator a little bit. That they were going to have a different approach to the game.
Yeah, under center.
Well, running the football, which they did in the first drive. And then they were unsuccessful and they had to change. Which, by the way, he deserves credit for those adjustments.
A lot of things were cosmetic, though, John. Stuff.
Because execution matters more than that bullshit.
It does. It was more cosmetic stuff.
It worked. So again, now it's on film. And by the way,
he also mentioned he called Nick Saban a week ago. That's what people are also talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, hopefully he goes outside the organization.
I don't think that's
maybe the guy that fired you. I got it.
Maybe Saquon can go outside the organization, get some help. I don't know.
You gonna call Brian Dable?
But hey, he's working with Cammy Scatterbo.
Wait, he's gonna call James Franklin, probably, right?
I mean, look,
he's got time.
I always use the GPS comparison. When you set your GPS, you're going to get to that destination. No matter how many detours, it's going to take you to that destination. So all these people are convinced that Kevin Patullo or Nick Sirianni or both suck. So every time Jalen Hurts plays well, it's somebody else's, either his or somebody outside the organization, evidently. And every time he plays poorly, it's their fault. Think about how sit in the corner and think about how absurd that is. So next week already against if he plays poorly, that's Kevin and Nick's fault. If he plays well, because he called up Nick Saban or Lane Kiffin, or not Lane Kiffin, Lincoln Riley. I apologize. Maybe I'll call up Lincoln. He's busy losing. Who did he lose to?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
And Lane Kiffin had a tough blow that game to Georgia too. And that one. Here's Big Norm. I don't get what Big Norm is listening to. He says, "You guys are the worst. You cannot give Hurts credit. No one said he would do this every game."
These are people that drive me insane. I said at least 6 times.
This is on tape.
This is one of the best games he's ever played. At least 6 times.
If you don't have a blow-up doll of Jalen Hurts sitting next to your desk when you go on the air, these guys just, hey, we're looking at what they've done for 28 quarters. This is the first game. What did they say? This first 300-yard game in over a year. Yeah. This is an anomaly. This isn't normal. Come on. You're making this thing sound
here's Young Swoosh. He says, the biggest point is that if I told you a week ago Jalen would have 300-plus yards and 3 touchdowns against the best passing defense in the league, you would have laughed all stream long like you did when Eskin said Hurts was number 2.
Hey, I never said – I wasn't in that – I said, no way do I think you're sitting Jalen. I never in a million years was ever in that room.
And I said all week that this is not a good matchup for Minnesota.
Yeah, you did, John.
All week.
And yet, John, they were in the game.
And by the way, they didn't have the number one passing defense. They weren't terrible, but they were not number one.
They were 2, weren't they?
No, I don't think they were 2. They were top 10. Let me look. Oh, they were 2. All right, they're 2
passing. Yeah, I thought they were 2 passing.
6 total. I was thinking 6
of total. Yeah,
2.
So, no, they were a good pass defense for sure.
Yeah.
That was a big performance for the Eagles. It's a confidence performance too, guys. This is a team that coming off of 2 straight losses versus 2 teams who I didn't think were on their level, and I don't think they thought they were on their level. I know it's the NFL and you can get beat by anybody, but you talk about the human element of the game all the time, John. There is a human element. I do think this is a confidence game for this team to get a win and to go out there and pass the way that they did today.
Oh, sure. I mean, anytime you play like that, it's a big confidence boost. 158.3. Everybody knows that number in this league for good reason. And that is rare. As you pointed out, what was it, 3rd time in Eagles history?
Yeah.
That's it. And the Eagles have been around since 1933. So you can go back and formulate those numbers because people have done that. They do that, even though they weren't numbers when they did it back then. So this doesn't happen very often, and it's not going to happen. So don't get too excited. That's all my point. This shit doesn't happen often. Enjoy it, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen next week. There is no transitive theory in the NFL.
Hey, John, just to give you some context here. So all the Eagle wins this year, 4 points, 3 points, 7 points, 6 points, 4 points. If anybody thinks that these guys are blowing people out, you're out of your tree.
Well, I brought up that, and I'm going to say it again. Eagles were outgained in all 6 games entering this game. Now make it 7. Of the 90, there have been 92 teams all time that have been outgained in each of their first 6 games. Now 7 for the Eagles. 5 of those teams have gone to the playoffs. 0 have reached the Super Bowl. They got it. They still have shit to fix. But the good thing is they're persevering. They've been able to win 5 games. And, they're going to be in first place in the NFC East, no matter what happens today. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But they have to play better. There's no doubt about that. Today, the passing game, the red zone defense, passing grades. A+ for the passing game. I would say B+ for the red zone defense. The only reason I don't give them an A+ is because there were a couple, the holding call was iffy and the Hawkinson play was iffy, but they did a great job. So I give them a B+. Everything else, running game.
You better watch out, John.
How many yards did
John,
Carson?
You better watch out here, man.
How many yards did Carson Wentz throw for today?
313.
Over 300 yards.
Jordan Addison is still open. He's still catching passes.
Jordan Addison was cooking people today, man. He was cooking Quinyon too, so I don't even want to hear the Keely Ringo.
Oh, yeah.
He's completely healthy.
Quinyanamo Bay. Somehow Jordan Addison was able to escape.
Yeah.
All right, boys,
hey, John, he was in the Keys.
Are the Eagles back on track then? Because both of you guys keep saying they're not going to do it. We all know.
I want John to answer that first. I want John to answer that.
I said what I
do, Sills.
Zander knows I'm very consistent. I said what I said before the game. I'm not going to learn anything from this game. I didn't learn much from this game other than they persevered. They find a way to play winning football more often than not. I think that's a good thing. I tried to defend the head coach and I got shot down for it because God forbid. Jalen Hurts had one of the best games he's ever played. I'm still worried about the running game. I'm not taking too much. I want to get to those games. I want to get to Green Bay. I want to get to Detroit. If they beat those 2 teams, I won't stop. You'll love it because I won't stop talking them up. But I got to get to those 2 games to see what this team is.
Fair enough. Big Sills, how about you?
Congratulations for doing your gig and getting the job done versus the Minnesota Vikings. And as John said, I agree. And I second that the passing game hadn't showed up in over a year and a half. Outstanding job. I mean, I really think that those guys played well. The run game is really the issue. And Saquon Barkley, the health of the offensive line, maybe that 2005 rushing attack a year ago took more of its toll on the offensive line than Saquon Barkley. So, listen, these are all stepping stones, but it's a week-to-week league, dude. It's all about matchups. And this coming matchup against New York, John said it in the pregame. The pregame is this. The New York Giants are built to beat the Eagles.
I don't know about that.
They are going to be in that game, and that's why they beat you before, because they are trying. That's why they got all these edge rushers now, like Abdul Carter, like they've got Kayvon Thibodeau, like they got Brian Burns, like they've got Dexter Lawrence in the middle. There's a reason. And by the way, Dexter Lawrence versus Brett Toothy Toast, I'll tell you what, I want to see that game come next week.
That's a big injury. We got to see what Cam is. That was a knee injury. So obviously, if he's not going to play, you might have to start thinking about moving Landon Dickerson back to center. If he's healthy
injure
enough.
Dickerson over to center, then you're going to go, wow, man. That's
what about one of those guys like a Willie Lampkin, John? They won't go there, or even the guy that they just drafted, Drew Kendall.
Drew Kendall will probably be active, but obviously they don't think he's ready. Willie Lampkin's on injured reserve, so.
Zander, congratulations to Jalen Hurts on playing the greatest passing game in the history of the Philadelphia.
Congratulations to me for.
No, I'm saying congratulations on Jalen on playing the greatest game in Eagle history to beat the Minnesota Vikings. Kudos. On to New York.
On to New York.
No doubt. All right, boys, good post-game show. Appreciate both of you for doing it. John, if only you knew how much gas you dropped in the Sileo mobile for this week. You don't even know. All right, good stuff, man.
John gave me so much ammo. Are you kidding me?
What did I do? I said the guy played
like
a phenomenal
Gatling gun come Monday.
I said it's unrealistic to expect that each and every week. Sometimes you have a 53-point scoring game. That's all.
Hold on, John. I got to take that. No, okay, I got it. I wrote it down.
Does anybody expect
No.
Ohtani to go in the World Series and hit 3 home runs again?
Hey, hang on, John. I might think that.
I don't know.
He might.
Dude, that was insane, man.
That was
10
insane.
strikeouts in 6 innings. He hit one out of Dodger Stadium over the mezzanine. I mean, come on
He's
now.
crazy. He's crazy.
I'm a Reggie Jackson guy. He once hit, I believe, 3 consecutive home runs on 3 pitches in the World Series.
That's right.
3
5
pitches.
in that series, too, in a game 6.
Yeah, 3 pitches. I don't think anybody's ever done that since, and that was 1977.
Yep.
Sometimes you're in the zone. All I'm saying is 158.3. Take the under next week. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes. All right, good stuff. All right, guys. Thank you. I'll talk to both of you guys tomorrow.
Catch you later, John. Thank you, guys.
All right. See you guys.